All right, Israel. Real quick video. I looked up, I Googled and asked, is your race the same as your descent? And they said no, race is not the same as descent because race is based on physical traits and social labels. Well, who did that though? While descent tracks your specific family lineage and ancestral roots, yeah, because these devils lie about race, man. Grouped by physical looks like skin color. That's what they say race is. That's not true. Razes means basically Zariah, your seed, Zariah in Hebrew, shaped by society and politics. That's not true. It's like, you could be in a country with all kind of laws and regulations and politics and all that, and you ain't even for that. Just like they say, well, if we go over to another country and then you say, well, you was born in America, so they say you American, they think you do like the Americans do, which what they hear about, you know what I'm saying? They say, oh yeah, y'all people are, weird over there. That's not true. The the so-called black people, which I think they label themselves Africans, but they usually West Indians, Slovakia, West Africans, which are our people. They got a problem with American blacks and then they'll mention that, black people are just like the so-called white man says, black people are lazy, they live in the ghettos and nasty, and that's not true. Now, a lot of cases it is not true with every so-called black person in America, but they group everybody together. So, this racial stigma and label is about looks and based on what people hear, based on rumors and misinformation. It's a scripture in the Bible going back to Sirach and Apocrypha. It's a red book that we use that's a part of the Bible. It's in the 1611. It says Sirach 22, 26 and 21, also called, it says Ecclesiasticus, also called Sirach, which states, so thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified. That race, meaning your real race, having the confidence of their good descent. It says right there, their good descent. So that they one and the same, man. Family lineage, moral purity, and household stability. And that's what the devil does, man. He breaks everything apart. He corrupts everything, the meaning of things. And then if you go to that word seed, now in the beginning, like I said, Genesis 1:11, and Al-Hayim said, it's basically power, said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit yielding seed, the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, talks about his, because the seed comes from the man, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. So after his kind, so after generation, that's your seed line. So Most High did it with the plants, and the trees and all that, and the beast, as well as human beings on earth, or beings on earth, because everybody is not really human, which means human means colored man. But if, let's say, go to I'll just use this for an example. Genesis 46:6, and they took their cattle and their goods, which they had gotten in the land of Canaan, and came into Egypt, Jacob and all his seed with him. When we look up that word seed, it should say, I know it's in Hebrew, Zariah. I forget if it's if they have it in the Greek. Go down. Yeah, Zerai. But they're going to pronounce it like Zedera or something.
Strong's H2233. Zerah.
Zara.
Zerah.
So that's Zerai in Hebrew. Seed, sowing, offspring, which it talks about offspring, semen, virile, offspring, descendants. Now, race is, that's not a new term, but it is a new word because we weren't talking English back then. So of course, but it being translated, because it was translated during the time of Ptolemy II from which is the Septuagint from the Torah to the Greek, and of course it was translated now into English. So you had that word race, but back then it was either Zerai or that other word I looked up in the blue letter. Let me see. Descendants, a practitioner of righteousness, sowing time. We know that's not talking about Esau. But offspring, it mentions semen, which comes from men. Offspring comes from men. That's why in springtime you got high level of, birth. Let me get that word, because that word offspring is used in Revelation concerning Yahawashi. Revelation 22:16, I, Yahawashi, it says Jesus, but we know it's not his real name. Neither Christ, it's Yahawashi, have sent mine angel to testify unto these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring, that go that word offspring, of David. The seed of David, basically, in the bright morning star. Same thing going into that word offspring. And let me see. Wait a minute. It's gonna be long, man. Genos.
Strong's G 1085. Genos.
My bad, dude. Genos. And they're gonna make it seem like these are three different things. What, 2 or 3 different meanings, whatever. Look, stock, and it talks about the stock of Abraham, stock nation. So your stock is your nation. Talks about the stock of Abraham, meaning his lineage, his seed, his nationality. Acts 13:26, men and brethren, children of the, and it says children, which goes back to the sons, but out of a man comes his seed into the woman that makes men and women, that makes a girl and a boy. Children of the stock of Abraham, and whosoever among you feareth the Most High, to you is the word of this salvation sent. And then it says, whoever so among you. Well, when you're talking to a whole congregation of your own people, it's not talking about whosoever as these other nations. Like, that's like somebody doing a speech in the hood and shit. The so-called white people ain't there. They act like they were just everywhere and in every place, and they getting the news, and they getting the scriptures, and they getting the word of the Most High. They was that back there with Moses and all that. No. Most High had a separation of the children of Israel. Separate from these heathens and these other nations. And it says, Philippians 3:5, circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel, seed of Israel, the lineage of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, And, your tribe too. Your tribe is your dwelling, you know, um, and Hebrew of the Hebrews as touching the law of Pharisees. So this is all about Israel. And then going back to that word. So Google, you gotta spit out the bones with Google, man. And it might not be they trying to be robotic with it. Like, no, skin, race is based on skin color and physical looks and all that, you know. And it usually is the case. I mean, if you're born in a land to where it's only your people and you're not mixed with any other people, of course, then you be like, well, they look like this, because they haven't gone out to be mixed among any other people. But when they scattered all across the world, they're going to start looking like everybody. But they're still going to be who they are. They're still going to be that same race and that same lineage of their fathers. So, they base race on physical looks, skin color, society, and politics. The so-called white man. That's why he put that label out there, black and white, light skin against dark skin. He did that in slavery. So, race is, these people are bogus, man. Going back to that scripture, talks about the race. So thy race, which thou leavest, Sirach 26 and 21, shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent. And then the theme is family lineage, moral purity, and household stability. Talking about race. Stock, family stock and value, a faithful wife. And though our women don't carry the seed, they still are wives and they're still our daughters. So they're still a part of the family. Now, if they go out there and have a baby with another nation, that child is that other nation's children, but they're still Israelites. So, so we have the family gene tools. you could put another word in there to, be the representation of the whole family concerning our descendants and our seed line, men and women, with daughters, sons and daughters. So, and easily a woman can be considered a disgrace because she could bring, a woman is a possession. So if she marry another man of another nation, and, especially when it's ceremonial and they go through all the things, then they're going to be like, well, we this is our possession now because this is my son's wife. Then you're going to be like, what's up with that? Because she belonged to your nation, Then, like, what have you done? Like, and then you bring a baby, into the world of their seed. Because, baby stays in the womb for 9 months, right? 9, maybe 10 months max. But all that time, you have another whole different race in you, So that could definitely cause ruffles, some feathers, or whatever. That's why I said don't give our sons to our daughters and our daughters to our sons. But that was for the sake of because we are going off, we are worshiping their gods. But when we're strong and stable and connected with the Most High, we're gonna able to have concubines of other nations. You know what I'm saying? Now, women might not like to hear that, but as long as we on top of our game righteous and in line with the Most High, we could have anything our hearts desire. That's what it says, according to righteousness. So there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, the seed, the man carries the seed. And it is about race, lineage, ethnicity, nationality. You got all these words, different words, you know, and one and the same, basically. They say United States of America. They say Americans as if it's everybody's race that were born in America. That's not true. America was named after Amerigo Vespucci. He was a person that lived, you know, and if that was the case, that would mean we're his descendants. That would mean we're his children, and that's not the case. We're the children of the Most High, the children of God. Our nativity is in Israel, though we weren't born there. Some brothers may have been, or whatever, but, you know, land and outward appearance and the practice of things doesn't determine your race, because now our people are practicing heathenistic customs, but you can't say that's, well, that means, you know, they couldn't be Israel, because Israel went off. Soul food is not, you know, all that junk, that swine and all that, that's not real soul food. You know, that's not Israel's real nature and behavior of living. They out of order, and that's why we tell you that. We draw that line of judgment that, hey, y'all going off. So yeah, the race is effed up, and that's why they put those labels on us, monkeys and niggas and all that. Not to say that they're justified by that, but, you know, you see on the news, our people be acting crazy than a motherfucker, like in the ghettos and fighting all the time, killing each other, you know, selling crack, you know, taking a whole family out, taking a child out for revenge of somebody that they can't find. That's all kind of bogus ass, wicked ass shit. So a lot of times Jake deserves that, most of the time. But like we say, man, you touch the elect, which is, you know, the first fruits, the first special seed line of the Most High. It's like the wine from his vineyard. We're the wine of the Most High's vineyard. You know, the first stock and strength of his pasture, you know. So you touch that, Most High gonna get angry, full force on your ass. Anyway, hopefully it was edifying to the next video. Shalom.